Yeah, we're good.
All right, we'll start with questions for Bert Ficklin, Devin Dampier, and Spencer Fano.
Take me through that second touchdown run. Baylor just cut it to 8. What were you seeing out there on that run?
Just going out there to play ball. Go out there, have fun. That's my motto. Just go out there and have fun. Hole opened up for my great O-line. Wayshawn setting off a good block. It was just, it was all set up and perfect. From that point on, it was just get in open field and make one man miss and go score.
Devin, it was a little bit slow starting the game. What changed that allowed you guys to kind of start putting it together and start scoring points?
Yeah, a lot of that fell on me just earlier. Just got to convert third down, be smarter. But, my team got my back, and that's what I love about my boys. We knew coming out of halftime, it's a whole new half. Let's step it up, and, man, when people are balling, keep giving them the ball.
Bird and Devin, you guys are obviously sharing the field more. Obviously, you're splitting out wide, Bird's splitting out wide. Just walk me through that dynamic, and is it fun at all for you guys to have sort of those plays drawn up for you guys by Coach Beck?
Yeah, we got a very loving relationship. There's no hate involved in anything. So anytime we get to see each other shine, we're all for it. So Bird stepped up as a freshman. He's earned those rights to get in the game. He proved it tonight while he's in.
It can be nothing but fun. My guy, I'm in there. We talk about this, especially all the time in our hotel room. What we gonna do whenever we're both in and we score. It's just something that we both love, we both have fun with, and it's a really loving relationship between me and my best friend.
Spencer, how rewarding is it as an offensive lineman to see the run game in particular, rip off big run after big run after big run?
It's so much fun. You do your job, and then you see these guys just running down the field. It's so much fun, man. Yeah. It was crazy. I feel like usually we have a bunch of those short yards and those chip yards, and we take a lot of time with the clock. But today it was just these guys were just getting out there making plays untouchable when they were in the open field. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Bird, obviously you made a big impact in the second half. Just kind of Baylor was kind of inching closer. I think they got within 8. What was running through your mind before that touchdown run that you had that kind of iced the game in your guys' favor?
It wasn't really too much going through my mind. It was just more of, take care of the ball. Don't give them more momentum. Come out here and be a vibe killer. And when we broke that long run, that's pretty much what it did. It killed their whole entire vibe for the rest of the game.
Each game, it's obviously offense, defense. You guys work together. Sometimes the defense has stepped up to help you guys. You guys obviously stepped up to help the defense today. Just kind of talk about that relationship and how you guys have each other's backs when maybe things aren't going together.
It's about time, man. Those dudes have said this so many times. So, I think it's about time that we have their back. Feels good.
Devin, when you have to go out, how much confidence do you have in Bird to get the job done?
A lot of confidence. During practice, again, he's gone in there and he's been perfect when he goes in. So, not a far drop off at all. It's pretty similar. So, balling.
For both Bird and Devin. Bird, you mentioned Dev was your best friend. Kind of a bigger picture question. What does your guys' relationship just look like behind the scenes, supporting each other? Obviously going through the ebbs and flows of this season. Just walk me through that.
Yeah, FaceTime probably five times a day. Find the time to hang out in the locker rooms before meetings, during meetings. That's just how it is. That's how we roll.
It's literally almost like if Dev's gonna be there, Bird's gonna be there. It's almost literally like that. We're going to get food together. We're on FaceTime. I'm somewhere getting something to eat. He's, hey, give me this, and this. Like, all right, bro. And from there, it's just like we just happen to hang out together almost all the time, almost every day.
Good? All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Proud of our guys. There was a lot of back and forth there for a while, but we just kept at it and answered the bell every time. And credit Baylor, they're a scrappy team, and the quarterback's a real weapon. It's the best receiving corps we've seen all year. There's no question about that. Tight ends outstanding, and so they got a lot going for them, particularly on offense. But our guys were dialed in tonight. Didn't have our best outing defensively as far as yardage given up, but it's passing yards are different than rushing yards. If you throw for over 400, you have less than a 50-50 chance to win. That's statistically proven, and so just proud of the way that the whole team hung in there. Bird Ficklin was probably the biggest catalyst for us when we needed it. He provided 2 huge runs for us, and the guy's just a really good football player. I don't know what to say. He's got a bright future, as I've said several times before, and he's just really provides a spark for us. Wayshawn Parker did a nice job. They went over 100 yards again, and he's really motivated to do that because whenever he does it, he gets to wear those pink cleats again the next week. And so I've made a deal with him, and so he gets to see him in pink cleats next week. But thought our defense, even though we gave up some stuff, played well on third down, held them to below right around 30%, which is good defense. Ran the ball for almost 400 yards, which has kind of been our calling card this year. We're second or third in the country rushing the football, and that offensive line is a huge reason why we're able to do that week in and week out, and credit the way they played. Got decent pressure on the quarterback, not great, but enough to make it a little bit uncomfortable for him. A couple interceptions, pick six. One was a pick six. That was a big play at that time, and so yeah, a lot of good things, a lot of things in that game that for both sides that they did well, but we did enough to get the win. So questions?
Kyle, is this the most unique win you've had at Utah in quite some time in terms of the defensive struggles and that?
I'd have to go back and really look at it, but it's the most unique win, I guess you could say, in the at least the short term past. But it was definitely a back and forth, and defensively we usually control things a little bit better, but today they got a good offense, like I said, and they got some weapons over there.
Spencer Fano said it's about time that the offense stepped up for the defense when they needed it. Kenny, what does that mean to you to be able to have an offense that does continue to kind of answer that?
Yeah, well, that's a credit to Spencer, first of all, and the kind of person he is, and he's a competitor, and he's a team guy all the way. And our offense has done pretty good this year. I mean, we're first or second in the league in a lot of categories, and they've really, when you consider how much we struggled last year, I mean, the turnaround has been remarkable. So very proud of those guys.
When you brought Bird in for Devin, was that because Devin was hurt or just because you were needing a spark?
Devin's a little bit beat up. There's no secret about that. That's no secret. And but he's a competitor. He's a warrior. He goes out, unless he absolutely can't function at all, he's going to want to play. And he wasn't his normal self tonight, but good enough to go out and do some good things. But Bird, it's great to have Bird, in the bullpen in the event that we need him.
Kyle, how much is there, maybe not a concern, but just not wanting to overwork Devin during a week, knowing that you need to get him to Saturday?
Yeah, that's every week we do that. That's a plan that we lay out, and it'll be the same this week, where he takes a lot of just mental reps, especially early in the week, and then we start to integrate him in as we get deeper into the week.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you need to see like a certain percentage of Devin during the week just to know that he is capable?
No, we just need him on game day to say I'm ready to go, because he knows this offense inside and out, as I've said many times, and the reps for him, even if they're just mental or even just not moving, but just taking the snap and going through his progression. He's a guy that he's a veteran, and if he didn't feel like he could help us win, then he'd let us know.
Is he doing any physical work during the week?
Some weeks no, some weeks yes. Yeah, I can say this: if we had to have played last Saturday, if we hadn't had a bye, he would not have been able to play. So that's without a doubt. He just wasn't ready.
Obviously, Dev and Bird seem like they have a pretty close relationship. Just speak to the unselfishness of Dev. When you go and call Bird's number and you're splitting out Devin wide or Bird wide, what does that mean in terms of his leadership, his unselfishness, and just the leadership in the locker room? Yeah, well, that's who he is. He's an absolute team guy as well. We got a bunch of guys that are I can't pick out a selfish player on this football team and say this guy needs to
come to the party a little bit as far as being a team guy. It's a bunch of guys all pulling in the same direction, caring more about the team than they do about themselves. And that's we say we have a lot of slogans, I guess, and fall in love with the team, not yourself. And that's what these guys have done.
Quick follow-up, was there a decision made at halftime to kind of put Bird and get him more involved
Mhm.
in the offense?
Yep,
And
there
how did
was.
you sort of walk him through that decision?
Well, I was in with the offensive staff, and and Devin was doing what he could do, but Bird, he's a weapon, especially in that Q run game, and we just decided that, hey, let's a little higher dose of Bird in this second half, and proved to be helpful.
How was Bird sort of growing up? Not necessarily over the course of the season, but week to week, how he learns, how he processes.
Oh yeah, he's maturing and becoming more seasoned every single week, and he has not had a game that he was inserted where the stage was too big. He's responded well every single time he's been in the game, and so like I said, the moment is not too big for Bird, and he's going to be a really good one.
Kyle, was there anything in particular that really caused you fits on the defensive side, especially secondary?
Well, just the fade balls. It's you throw up those 50-50 balls, and we didn't make enough of a percentage of them, for our liking. They're going to connect on some. Like I said, that receiving core is outstanding, and the tight end, you're going to be seeing him play on Sunday for a long time. But that we got to do a little better job of winning more of the 50-50 balls, at least tonight.
There was a scuffle during the game. What do you do with that after the fact, and kind of what has happened after that?
Yeah, well, they both got personal fouls. Scooby, I think, is the one you're talking about down in the, I don't know where north and south is, that end zone, whatever, our locker room end zone. But Scooby lost his cool a little bit, and obviously the other guy had something to do with it as well, or he wouldn't have got flagged. So we'll sort that out, and I don't know if that means that Scooby's out for the first half of the next game. It does? Well, that sucks. Okay, well, yeah. So we'll, heat of the moment, competitive, but you got to keep your cool. I'm not making excuses for Scooby. I can't. I don't know enough about the situation right now to tell you a definitive course of action for us, but we'll find out.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.